So in Mark chapter 2, we see some really cool stories towards the beginning of Jesus's ministry. And one of the stories that stuck out to me is this first section of Mark chapter 2, when four friends bring a paralytic man to Jesus. Now, what's so crazy about this was back in this day, if you have a person who is paralyzed, they're probably a beggar, they're probably socially outcast, all these sorts of things. But for some reason, these friends actually stuck with this social outcast. I think that's amazing. The second thing that I love about this story is they cared so much about introducing him to Jesus that they were willing to risk a lot. It says here in verse 4, since they could not get him to Jesus because of the crowd, they made an opening in the roof above Jesus by digging through the roof, and they lowered the man on a mat to Jesus. So they're friends with a paralytic, which might not be socially acceptable. Second of all, they decided to destroy a guy's house to get to Jesus. They risked the social feedback and pushback they would get from interrupting this meeting that they had. They did everything they could to meet Jesus. I want to pause here in this story to ask you a question. What are you willing to give up in order to actually meet Jesus face to face, in order to actually really talk with him, in order to really be healed? Now, so they thought they were going in for this physical healing for the man. They bring him in, and when Jesus saw their faith, it says, he said to the paralyzed man, "Your sins are forgiven." Now, they asked for physical healing. Jesus gave him much more than what they asked for. I just want to stop here because sometimes in our lives we want Jesus to meet our physical needs. We beg with him to meet our physical needs and he doesn't. But the whole time that he doesn't meet that physical need, he's oftentimes meeting a deeper need that we don't even know that we have. He's meeting our spiritual needs, and he's meeting so much more. Will you trust him today enough to run to him? Will you trust him today enough to really throw aside everything that could get in the way? And will you trust him enough to allow him to meet all of your needs no matter what?